Okay, so today we're talking about a new phase of training or a new kind of goal of training, and that is to do a 500-pound back squat and run a 5-minute mile or sub 5-minute mile in the same day. So it's going to be a big goal. I'm kind of under no illusions about it. The plan is so I think for the running program there's around 17 progressions. So assuming kind of an average of 2 weeks or an average of 2.5 weeks for each progression, it's probably going to take 9 months is the plan at the moment. So to give you some background around the goal, like when I was like a fair bit younger, probably 7 years ago, I used to do a good load of running. Like I played rugby, so I did a good bit of sprinting, a lot of kind of high-end aerobic stuff. I then continued that conditioning when I transitioned out of rugby and then went in to do a small bit of CrossFit. So I have a fairly good level of aerobic training previously. Obviously that is all gone away now, and I'm extremely detrained aerobically and in the work capacity areas, but it'll just be a thing of kind of getting that gene expression to come back again. So it's very much detrained rather than untrained, which is what I'm hoping. The 500-pound back squat is 227 point something kilos. That's not going to be the difficult part really. Like I've done that squat. I've done 230 in December. I did 230 last August. So the squatting is like, I'm detrained from squatting, but that's much more recently. So that's not really going to be one of the concerns for me. But the concern will be doing it at a lighter body weight. So I think for both of those times, I was kind of 108, between 108 and 110 kilos body weight. What I'm thinking is for running this 5-minute mile, most of my training is going to be done at around 100 kilos body weight. At the moment I'm like 105 most of the time, or 105 when I wake up in the morning. So there'll be a small drop in weight. I think if I'm low 90 kilos, it would make the run a lot easier, but the squat's going to be a hell of a lot more difficult. And very much so in the training for this, the squat is going to be on the back burner for a long time. So I'm going to just slowly start building work capacity with the squats, doing sets of 10, like last week did some sets of 15. And keeping that intensity level very low, and keeping the volume very high. The other thing it's going to do is allow me to build some work capacity that will actually help with the first iteration of the sprint program. So what I'm doing, the reason this interests me so much is race-paced training doesn't get a lot of, or in running communities it's huge, but for general fitness people, they tend not to do it. They tend to do faster runs, or they'll run intervals, or they'll run like some sort of interval training as like sprint training to get faster, and then they'll run their longer distances like 5Ks and 10Ks. But generally people don't do a continuous race-paced program all the way up until the day they try to like achieve their goal of whatever that time is for a 5K or whatever like that. So this is very much going to be a kind of proof of concept training program. I'm increasing it in 50-meter increments. So I know the pace I need to hit for a 5-minute mile. It's 300 seconds for a mile. So a mile is around 1600 meters. So if I divide that down, it's a 75-second 400 meter. So like a 400 meter run in 75 seconds and 4 of those. That's their rough numbers now. So what I'm starting with is 50-meter sprints at that pace, so 400 for 75-second pace. And then I'm going to incrementally increase that. So what I'll be doing is using kind of facilitators and constraints to make sure I'm able to achieve that pace. Then I achieve that pace on like good flat ground, and then I might use some constraints to ensure I'm ready now to progress to the next level. So take the example of a 50-meter sprint at that pace. So I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me. I can't remember what the time is for 50 meters, but if I'm unable to do that pace for 50 meters, I'm going to find like a slight downhill. And for running, you only need very, very, very slight downhills, like a few percentages of a gradient. Once I start achieving those speeds with those gradients, I'll gradually reduce it so I'm running on a flat surface. I'm pretty lucky around here. We've got loads of hills and a good bit of flat ground as well that's easy to run on. So it'll usually start with some sort of a facilitator, like something that'll make it easier. Maybe that's a slight gradient at the start or the end of the whatever track I'm running on. Then I'll go to a flat, so it'll be race paced on race surface. And then if I'm unsure, so say if I'm at 200 meters and next week I'm going to 250, if I'm unsure, I might add in a slight increase in gradient, like a constraint, and see once I'm able to achieve that for a certain distance, then I'll increase the distance, keep the pace the same, and I might just go straight to flat instead of adding in a facilitator. So it's an exciting goal to go after. It's a big change. So around 2 years ago, I was fairly full into weightlifting for like 14 months. And I kind of achieved the goals I wanted to achieve there. Like I did 125, 150.
There you go, man.
Which aren't great numbers, but I was happy with them at the time. Then last year went and did some powerlifting. And then this year it's going to be probably the biggest challenge of all of them. And trying to balance these two training systems. So this isn't going to be like a regular weekly check-in or anything, because this is going to be pretty boring progression. But what it will be is like every so often we'll do a check-in. We'll do another video like this with some more training clips in them. And then we'll just kind of keep you informed over the course of it. If you want to keep to update on kind of a more regular progress, we'll be talking about it on the Sikastrength podcast. And it'll be on our Instagram channel as well. Thanks.